Audi TT, VLS cars. I can't remember the name of the class now, actually.
More like the Nürburgring.
With me on commentary is my heterosexual life partner, Byron Derksecchi.
What up, gangsters?
And they're letting us do this alone again. I think that might be a slight mistake.
Unchaperoned, and there's no one around to monitor my booze intake.
That's always the truth, let's be real.
Oh, is that a handicap car?
That is a handicap car.
Awesome.
The two Greek drivers, led by this man, Vangelos Parginos, in the Pro Handicap EV racing car.
I believe that's Vangelis with the IS.
Vangelis?
We just call him Van Helsing.
We need a Greek guy.
Demetrios Van Helsing.
Oh, and a 21st car has joined the grid, and Lachlan Nichols, our boy from Australia, is here.
Crikey, he didn't have time to qualify.
Well, we're in qualifying now. He didn't have time to practice.
Oh, right, damn. It was almost a great joke. Or does he have room? Or does he have time to qualify?
He has 13 minutes. He's got to be pretty sloppy if he doesn't.
I would agree. That sloppy bitch.
Doesn't need it, Lachlan. He's just grumpy that he's not drunk yet.
I'm working on it. I may have put one too many ice cubes in here, though. It's really slowing my day. I could have taken that corner a little bit sharper and had my time down to get drunk faster if it wasn't for that extra ice cube. But my team set up my drink, and I had to just go with what I had out there, and I gave it 110%. But sometimes you got to downshift. See, I had to downshift into, a 0-calorie drink, and it just didn't mix with me on the backstretch.
I'm very tempted to go get pizza after this.
Oh, pizza! Goddamn.
Your mission will be to convince me not to.
Yeah, that's probably fair. I would like to point out that I have not had lunch or breakfast today, so drink up, Shriners.
I have had a little bit. I had 2 eggs in the morning and with 2 strips of bacon and a little bit of Greek yogurt.
Ooh. Sucking up to the Greek destroyer, I see.
No, just like Greek yogurt. I like Greek food. I like Greek food in general. I mean, you know this about me.
It is true. They are low-calorie people. I mean, what?
They're really not. Visar Jacoli is right now our pace setter, as he is, by virtue of being the first guy out of the pits, probably will be the first guy to post a lap time.
Yeah, well, the Montenegrin destroyer.
He has the 3rd handicap car of Enrique Hervas behind.
I believe he is handy-capable.
And then the other cars you see in your shot are Richard DeRoche, Fran Machuca, and Dale Smith. Fastest time in practice was roughly a low 2:02, so that's going to be the ballpark benchmark here for pole position, as Visar comes across in a 2:03, so probably not an actual threat to take pole quite yet. Richard DeRoche taking pole, Fran Machuca now on pole, and it's going to be interesting because here come the Greeks.
I like John Barker's car. John Barker's car looks loud as fuck.
John Barker's car. Oh, yeah, the green one. Yeah. Looks like we've lost Lachlan Nichols again, so we're back down to 20 cars.
Damn it, Lolchan.
Wesley Stokes putting in a lap time there. Slowest of the bunch so far. Here comes Michael O'Leary in the very stylish Rotec racing car.
Ooh, shiny.
And he comes across the line in 9th position. Solid opening tenure from the American. Alex Loeffler coming across the line, taking 12th. That, I think, will be significantly improved. Alex Loeffler was a top 10 guy in practice, so he's definitely got a lot more than that. Martin Edmonds' car makes me want a butterscotch sundae. That's true.
Just gonna talk about food. Welcome to the Food Podcast. We'll be your host.
Welcome to
We'll also be racing.
Podcast with cars.
Yeah. Who's this pink emo guy?
Pinky Mo?
He's a vegetarian. Pinky Mo, Pinky Mo.
Is he a vegetarian?
I don't know. I'm just singing, like, I'm singing Dead-Eye Dick because Pinky Mo.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about that.
Got a new age girl. Tell her what she's like.
You missed the pains of me driving a Bentley in the drop-in server yesterday.
Y'all can't drive no German garbage.
Bentley's not German.
I was gonna say, I don't think Bentley's German.
Bentley is British.
Is it? Oh, well, it's probably made out of cast iron and hatred.
Cars continue to circulate. We're still lacking a lap time from Taha Mali, who is the top man on the leaderboard leading into this whole fracas. So look for him to possibly change things up considerably. Nico's Papa Mihal still on pole from Fran Machuca and Felipe Fejea. Wesley Stokes coming around. He does better his lap time, but not by much. Wesley a little bit out of position right now. John Barker is crossing the line for the first time. We'll see where he fits in. He's probably a top 10-ish car. And now we're looking at Alex Loeffler, who's got a pretty good lap time going, actually. Must say, the times are a lot closer than they were in practice, so that's an interesting fact, as people are definitely picking up
Talk about practice.
Alex Loeffler into the top 10 in 9th place.
Talk about practice.
And here comes James Butler, currently running in 14th position on the grid.
Oh.
Has a pretty decent time going here and does pop himself into the top 10.
I will not be able to keep an eye on chat because my computer overheats like a son of a bee sting if I try and do like 2 high-grade video things at once. So everybody in chat wants to yell at me.
I will be attempting to keep the chat up to date.
Excellent.
Not sure if we'll have anyone in the chat, because today, for those unaware, it is 24 hours of Daytona. So a lot of racing fans who are not at this race are definitively watching the streams from that.
I'm holding out for the Night-Tona myself.
I am rooting for the Mazda prototypes in the Daytona 24-hour, because it would be nice to see some competition in the prototypes, because lately they've been dominated by one brand pretty consistently.
Nike. Not Nike?
Not Nike. No.
Reebok.
Not Reebok.
Oh. Daihatsu?
Dale Smith coming across the line. Not a very good lap time by the looks of it. He will not improve on his 6th place. In fact, drops right to 7th as I'm talking about that. Taha Mali is on the track and 3rd quickest.
Is he from Mali?
No, he is from Morocco, I do believe.
Oh, exotic.
One of our more... Actually, a pretty multicultural field we got here. We got Greeks, Portuguese, Spanish, Moroccans, Canadians, Americans, British, Germans, Polish drivers. We got... of course, Albanian, the Sergeant Colby.
Jawohl. I was bugging my Greek friend Nico at work, and I told him I'm pretty sure that the ancient Greeks invented hentai, what with all the octopus they had lying around.
Probably true.
Probably true. He was appropriately amused by that.
The man who seems still kind of out of position, and it seems weird that he's in 4th place, and I'm about to kind of disparage it, is Vangelis Parginos, who was the fastest in practice, but has not really shown his pace so far in the qualifying session.
He's sandbagging. He's going to take them all from behind. He is Greek.
Could be. I don't know if he's from Sparta, though.
No.
John Barker on the lap. John Barker off the pace right now, 2.4 seconds off a pole. Currently running in 14th position on the grid.
Listen, if you can't be fast, you got to be loud. So that's what he's doing.
That is a loud car. That's for sure. The MSC Sinzig EVI ADAC car. Very nice.
It's the miscellaneous Danzig EVO with the triple deck.
Why you got to bring Mac Danzig in?
Not Mac Danzig. Danzig, motherfucker. Be nice to Barker.
Be nice to Barker.
Tied it all together. Only a very few people in the world are going to understand that whole discourse we just had.
It's quite possibly just you and me.
That is very possible. No, there's at least, well, I would say one other guy, but he's a little slow in the head.
Oh! Not really sure what John Barker did there. He just kind of parked.
Ran out of hubcaps.
So 19 of the 20 cars have now put a lap time in. The only man not to put a lap time up yet is Lukas Maluski, the Polish driver, currently down in 20th place by virtue of that.
He sandbagged until the last second and then posted up the quickest time.
I do not think this is going to improve Vangelis's grid position here with this lap. It doesn't look like it with the gaps. No, nothing there. Still 14th, or still 4th. I thought he would be in a battle for the front row, and he just doesn't seem to quite have it. Here comes Lukas Maluski to put up a lap time. Where is it going to put him? It is going to put him in 18th position.
It's better than last. Johnny
the Peach bringing up the rear at the moment.
Johnny Pick and Scratch.
Nico's popping Mihail on pole, and time running out for anybody. They more or less have to be starting a timed lap now or be on it to challenge for pole position.
I'm laughing a lot that the team name is Pro Handicap. I don't know.
I don't blame you. When I first saw that, it was a bit weird.
Can't help it. As a person raised on really hokey, bad war amp, a little squirrely there, really bad war amp commercials about playing safe and stuff, Pro Handicap, that's tickles a funny bone in the back of the reptile part of my brain. Still don't understand why this pink emo dude is like. Listen, I'm gonna go ahead and guess that Pink Emo not actually Pink Emo's real name. I take that as kind of an upfront thing. It's an online video game. I understand. You know, if you don't want to put your real name out there, I'm cool with that. It's just I would like to know what the story is behind that particular name. And if it is your real name, I want to know that story too.
Really, there's a story either way. Darcy Parkinson in the comments, by the way, calling us subpar. Very hurtful there.
Listen, at least we're not down with the syndrome.
I mean, we are down with the syndrome, though.
Commentary will be picking up the more I do this.
Once we get some actual race action, I mean, that'll generally generate more of the way of the comment.
I was trying to come up with a new sponsor for us today.
Oh, Taha Mali with a double purple sector. Can he take the pole?
Yes.
Here he comes around the corner. He looked a little sloppy when we picked him up there. Can he do it? And it is Taha Mali to the pole position by 2/10 of a second.
If this was an Olympic swim meet, you'd all look foolish as shit.
Still in second place is Nikos Papa Michal, followed by Fran Machuca, Vangelis Parginos, and Richard DeRoche. Your top 5. No Darcy Parkinson in this race, so that leaves the field pretty open otherwise. And we have our final grid. You can see it there, from Taha Mali to John Pachea, down at the back of the pack. 5.719 seconds separating the entire field.
That's not a lot. At least from my perspective, that's not a lot of time. That's virtually no time at all.
Not bad. There's certainly have been larger gaps throughout the grid, especially with an over 2-minute lap.
Also, why isn't Darcy here doing commentary? I mean, seriously. He knows about cars and stuff.
He just doesn't want to be cowed by our magnificent.
He doesn't want to be cool. He doesn't want to be in the cool kids club. Is that what's going on?
He enjoys being a man on the outside looking in.
Well, I mean, what do you think I'm doing?
Or out in the front, looking back at everyone else as he speeds away into the distance.
So fast, he's already run this race, and that's why he's not even entered.
Absolutely. Waiting for everybody to join the grid there. And then if it goes... there we are. We do have the red lights. I like this. This will definitely help with actually figuring out when the race is about to start. We're on board with Lucas Maluski for the start of the race down at the back there. And they are off!
Like a dirt hurdles.
Looks like Taha Mali has gotten the good start and is going to hold the lead against Nikos Papamihail.
Oh, gonna be some chaos. Chaos!
A little bit of bouncing around in the background there. Someone going very weak.
That's what I would like to call an inside line. That guy was going for it.
Taha Mali has retained the lead over Vangelis Parginos, and Nikos Papamihail has dropped to third place in the battle. Rounding off the top five is Fran Machuca and Richard DeRoche. A guy who got a pretty good start actually is Lucas Maluski, who's up to 16th position after starting 19th.
Pinky Mo
has been awarded a drive-through for speeding in the pit lane.
How do you acquire that?
He must have started from the pit lane.
Is that legal?
That is legal. If you do not join the grid, the game does force you now to start from the pit lane.
Oh, okay. All right.
In real life, this would normally be reserved for a car that had something wrong with it and couldn't make it onto the grid in time, or is dealing with some kind of last-minute change that was not approved by the stewards, for example.
Oh, yeah.
And also sometimes a car that has a grid penalty will start at the back or start from the pit lane just to kind of avoid the carnage that can obviously come around in the first corner, which we saw yesterday at Chang when we were doing commentary.
Perhaps they should all demand perfect suspension.
Martin Edmonds going down the inside of Felipe Fajea. He takes 6th position. Felipe seems to be dropping back a little bit, but at the front it is still Taha Mali leading the Greek contingent of Parigos and Papamihail. With Fran Machuca, these four look like they might be able to make a little bit of a dash to get away from the rest of the pack. Currently, Nikos Papamihail has a little bit of a penalty for cutting the track. There we go. He has now served that. Slowdown penalties are in effect. If you cut the track and gain an advantage, you may have to give some of that back by slowing your car down.
That doesn't sound manly to me, Bill.
Not at all.
You should just have to go faster, trying to outrace the penalty.
Martin Edmonds looking to continue his carve through the field. He is putting the pressure on Richard DeRoche for 5th position. Right behind the Manchurian
candidate, Manchura.
Indeed. Right behind this battle for the lead, which Taha is starting to make a getaway up at the front. He's built up a lead of 1.6 seconds over Vangelis Parginos. I'm not sure why I keep pronouncing his name in various different fashions.
Just call him Parginos.
It just kind of feels good. It's a good name. I like that name.
It is good. There are many jokes going through my head about Papamihail. I gotta pop me pills, or pop him in the eye, or Popeye. We can just call him Popeye. Nico's Popeye, Papamihail.
It's a very punnable name, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, there's the Papa thing. There's Hail. There's the we're gonna pop you in the thing. There's a lot going on there. We like it. Well done, sir. You've genetically won. Or phonetically won. Hey! Martin the Butterscotch Bastard Edmonds.
Dale Smith putting the pressure on Andy Blade in a battle for 11th position right now. They are side by side into the final turn.
I think Andy would do a lot better if he stopped drinking straight grain alcohol right before every race.
It would be possible, but it looks like Dale Smith has gotten through, so it's a little bit late to stop drinking now. Andy coming back at him, though. This battle could go on for a little bit.
Wasn't there a cartoon chipmunk named Dale?
Chip and Dale, yeah.
Oh, yeah, duh. Well done, brain, idiot. Oh, Dutch, little Dutch. Nope, not gonna happen.
Chip and Dale, Rescue Range.
Remix. Oh, no.
Here comes the remix. Remixing all of your childhood favorites.
I only do the one beat. And it's for everything. I'm not going to shout DJ Clue as loud as I can over every track.
Martin Edmonds putting a lot of pressure on Felipe Fajea in the battle for 6th position right now. Fajea had gotten back around Edmonds, but it definitely looks like Edmonds has got something for the Rotec boys. In his MSC I can't say that.
Odin Christian.
Odin Christian 2012.
Odin Kirchen? Yeah, Odin Kirchen. Or Kirshen, something like that. Miscellaneous Odin Kirchen. Pro handicap, what up? None of that amateur handicap nonsense. Pfft, what do you take us for?
Pretty much. Top 4 have really gotten away from the rest of the pack. Richard Roche now drifting about almost 4 seconds behind them. He's the guy right ahead of this battle here between Edmonds, and Edmonds is looking really hard for a way around the Portuguese driver, Felipe Fajea.
You want to dive right in there, oh yeah.
Right behind them, it's Visar Jacolia, Alex Loeffler, and Enrique Hervas rounding off the top 10 right now. If these two were to come to blows, they would be probably very appreciative. In the meantime, at the front, the Greek contingent is chopping out of the lead of Taha Mali, but it still stands at about 1.2, 1.3 seconds.
Get him, Edmonds! Nope, Edmonds did not get him.
He bogged down in that corner. That's actually going to let the gap slide a little bit in the favor of Felipe Fajea. This is really playing to the advantage of Richard DeRoche, though.
Did you say bogged down?
I did not.
Oh, my bad.
I said bogged down.
Bogdan?
Bogdan is not here, unfortunately.
Oh.
The absence of Mr. C already being felt on this track.
I'd like to point out that one of my crew members, is it? I don't remember which one it is, but I do have a crew member on one of my World of Tanks crew that I renamed as Bogdanovich.
Also a NBA basketball player with a name very similar.
Really?
It's like, I think it's Bojan Bogdanovich or something. It's very close to like being a double like first name sort of deal.
Neat. We call him Mr. Bojangles.
Nikos Papamichael is on the tail of Vangelis. Gonna go just Angelico. There you go.
Angelico, very nice. And he's your boy, Vengeance Angelico. What up? Gonna take a fucking dive off of the judges' stand.
They're starting to lose Fran Machuca, who doesn't appear to be able to quite keep up with this leading trio.
Well, traditionally, the Manchurian candidate does have slight mental problems.
Traditionally, this is the... We got a hard battle going on, though, for 13th position between Wesley Stokes, who's right up on the tail of... he was right up on the tail of Lucas Maluski. There he is. Okay, Lucas had just taken a weird line there. Wesley all over his back end. Andy Blade is the man ahead of them, along with Dale Smith.
Dude, they're swapping spots like a mad porn shoot.
Indeed, they are pretty much side by side heading into this first corner. Wesley versus Lucas. It looks like Lucas is going to hang on to it for now. Oh, no! He goes wide! This fight's back on.
I'm not seeing any of this. You're insane. I'm just watching in the browser.
Wesley Stokes. Oh, contact! Lucas Maluski losing control. Wesley losing control pretty hard, and he's going to slip backwards in the pack.
I'm missing contact? This is bullshit.
Probably to more or less the back of the pack. He is going to rejoin ahead of Pinky Mo, who, of course, had the drive-through penalty earlier.
Word.
And now we ride with James Butler, who is fighting hard with Lucas Maluski, who's rejoined, along with the car of Michael O'Leary over 13th position.
I'm still watching the Greek Freaks try and reel your boy Casablanca in.
Oh, James Butler with a little bit of contact on the back of Michael O'Leary. Loses control off the track. That'll cost him a spot to Reese Act. I'm going to go with that as the pronunciation for ATK.
Yeah, my feed seems to be really in love with Nikos and refuses to leave third place.
Indeed, it's a hell of a battle going on there. Dale Smith, though, is climbing all over the back of Enrique Hervas right now.
That is correct.
And they have Andy Blade with them as well. Wesley Stokes overtaking John Pachea in the background for 18th position.
I say, Andrew, give them a good stabbing. Yes, quite. Rather.
Andy needs to sharpen his blades.
Well, I just, in my head, I always hear Soundgarden playing whenever Andy Blade's around.
There you go, Andy. You got yourself a theme song.
I'll drop this rusty blade and race with somebody better. Oh, that's not... Oh, I'm sorry. Did that come out my mouth? Did I say that? But outside voice, inside voice. Damn it.
Whoa! Dale Smith losing control of the car a little bit. Andy had a chance to get around him, and he did not take it.
I'm back watching Nikos. My auto director seems to be in love with Nikos. I mean, he is a very attractive man, I'm assuming.
Mine most likely is also, but I'm hopping around whenever I see a hot battle going on here.
That does sound very attractive. Anybody out there doing mods, so come up with like a slave system for this. So if we're going to do dual commentary, have somebody in charge of the feed and have them be able to switch around to things. Somebody mod that. Do that now.
That would be downright impressive. I think Peaky Mo may have retired from the race. He is shown as in the pit lane at the moment.
No!
Dale Smith looking down the inside once again of Enrique Hervas, but unable to convert. Hervas does seem like he's definitely the cork in the bottle right now, that both Andy Blade and Dale Smith are pretty able to catch him at will, but they can't find a way around the Spanish driver. And I say this, Dale Smith's got it!
I was about to say, I don't understand how Enrique isn't in first place, because that's where he is always.
Well, this is a Division 1, 2, and 3 race, whereas we're used to seeing Enrique compete with just Division 2 and 3.
Oh, wow. I mean, there you go.
A lot of smoke coming off of the brakes of these cars. Whoa.
I've noticed a lot of smoke/steam on the track throughout the entirety of all of the warm-up and the practice. Is that a design feature of the game designers?
I think it's just the heat coming off of the brakes when they brake.
No, like there's waves of steam or smoke that are permanently, coming up off the track for me.
Could be.
But I have much better graphics and there's, nothing to brag about.
It looks like Enrique Hervas making a mistake there, now under pressure from Andy Blade. He's lost the plot against Dale Smith for the time being. Nikos Papamichail has dropped back a little bit from second place there. Still within striking distance, 0.4 of a second, but considering that he was sub 0.2 of a second and a couple times there, he has dropped back just a little bit. Maybe just settling in. I mean, we have an hour and 16 minutes remaining in this race. There is no rush.
Oh my God! I need to slow down the drinking. I didn't even look at the time.
I say this, and Nikos is back on the attack. He's got it down to 0.1 of a second between him and his Greek compatriot.
Shake and bake, baby.
But can't seem to find a way to pass. I mean, there is, of course, the old proverb in racing that holds true is just because you can catch him doesn't mean you can pass him.
Mm-hmm. Deploy super wide fenders. No pass.
No pass for you.
I was looking forward to more camera time on Mr. Richard DeRoche so I could make Grande Ricardo jokes. But, you know, we'll have to do with what we got.
He's kind of running on his own at the moment. Although Felipe Fajea is catching up to him a little bit.
Can I start singing Dancing with myself?
Had the gap down to a little bit under a second.
Racing with myself, big rich, racing with myself, whoa, whoa.
In fact, while we're talking about it, let's give Mr. Richard DeRoche a little bit of time on the camera. Running in a solid 5th position with Felipe Fajea catching up to him. It's down to about 6/10 now. In behind them, Martin Edmonds and Visart Giacoli are running. But we do have a battle on now between Reese Act and Lucas Maluski. Maluski in the wars again. This action in this kind of lower midfield section here for 14th position has been going on good. James Butler just behind them.
Oh my God! We're still watching the 2nd and 3rd place. They're basically synchronized swimmers up hitting this pitch.
Pretty much.
I mean, I guess all Nikos really has to do is point at the rear bumper and go. Like, as long as you're mechanically sound, you can match what the guy ahead of you is doing, right?
Pretty much.
So, I mean, really, Nikos is cheating. That's how that is. That's
James Butler now on the attack against Reese Act for 15th position. Reese's attempt to get past Lucas Maluski has failed. Maluski has gotten away from him a little bit and has exposed him to James Butler. Felipe Fajea is also on the attack against Richard DeRoche. We will check that out shortly. Looks like his attack has been seen off for the time being.
Mike, I gotta say that you've disappointed me, and I shall chastise you. There's at no point during the entire time you have known Andy Blade have you ever referred to him as the Daywalker.
That's wrong on many levels.
I feel as though you have let me down, you've let commentary down, and you are required to perform 1/64th of one push-up.
He is the pasty Wesley Snipes. I don't know what to tell you.
The albino rhino. Lord have mercy, these guys, these Greek fellers, they sure can race.
James Butler has finally gotten around Reese Act for the time being, but has lost the back end of Lucas Maluski now, who is also on his own on the attack against Michael O'Leary. So the battles further down here for about 13th through to 16th, providing us with a lot of interesting action.
Is it fair to say that anybody that Mr. Butler passes has been bubbled?
Yes.
Excellent.
Andy Blade on the attack against Enrique Hervas. This has been an ongoing thing pretty much throughout the entire race, and people attacking Enrique Hervas for position. And nothing has really come to it yet.
He's going to inject the serum, and the Daywalker shall pass. God damn it, I'm back at, like, what the hell? Why does this thing go back? This stupid race director has taken me back to 3rd place for the... Listen, I get it. It's a tight race. It's a real tight race for 3rd and 2nd place. But, come on, son. I mean, I'm all about the pro handicap. It's amateur handicap. Don't even talk to me. Do not add me. But, come on, son. There's action other places.
It's actually really throughout the entire grid. It's a very tight race right now. Outside of Pinky Mo, who of course has been retired, the only gap that's kind of unsurmountable is the one between John Barker and Wesley Stokes, which is about 11 seconds right now. Well, Dale Smith is quite a ways behind Alex Loeffler, but he is catching Loeffler, so that could change.
Although I am missing the 3rd member of the Greek contingent, so I'm a little sad.
Indeed, Frederico's Wagner, or Wenger. Not
I think
here
it's
today.
Wenger.
Wenger, yeah, most likely.
I'm pretty sure. And yeah, motherfucker, he might not win, but he will finish.
He will finish.
I don't care.
Nothing will keep.
I do not care what you do. You can burn me, you can stab me, you can shoot me, but you just can't stop the Greek freak.
Cannot. That is a fact. Andy Blade absolutely all over the back of Enrique Hervas, who is showing tremendous composure and not making a mistake here.
Correct.
Down the inside. Does Andy have it? No, Andy does not
Pull a
have
brakey! Pull a brakey, it'll be hilarious.
Andy still being held behind the Spanish Division II champion of prototypes, Enrique Hervas, also prototype champion from the ESR RLM series that we just wrapped up earlier this month. Congratulations to Mr. Hervas.
Sí, grande. Vámonos, muchacho.
He's in quite possibly a much tighter fight than he had in that entire championship run here against Andy Blade.
I apologize for that. I was going to say something clever, and then my body rejected it. Oh, God. And now I don't remember what it was.
Martin Edmonds is all over the backside of Richard DeRoche in a battle for top Canadian honors in the race right now.
The
Battle for
butterscotch
6th
bastard
place.
coming for you.
Andy Blade is also on the attack, and Nikos Papamihail is very close to possibly challenging for 2nd place there for a bit, but
he's been that way the whole race.
Pretty much.
It's been the same thing the whole. Listen, I understand it's a tight battle for 2nd and 3rd. Again, come on, son. Okay. So whoever, didn't you say that somebody had modified this director, the auto director?
Mm-hmm. Mr. Scout.
All right. So Scout, awesome job. Thank you very much. It's not cutting away from fights, but I need an eventual timeout. Like, yes, I need to see this, but it needs to have a cutaway and then a cool down period. I need a minimum, like, something like 45 seconds before we go back. And we can't just stay with Nikos the entire time. If anybody knows who the Scout guy is, pretty please. It's almost perfect. Almost.
He has watched our videos in the past and has actually he has responded to some of our critiques of his work.
Mr. Scout, I appreciate your work, and it just needs a little bit more tweaking because you're seeing Mio's perspective, you're not seeing my perspective. I've been stuck on 3rd place for, I don't know, 75% of this race. And it's great. It's great to watch these Greek fellers really dip, dive, and dodge and try and shake and bake each other. But Mio's been showing a bunch of other things that there was contact. I missed contact. That's sad. That's really a long roundabout way of saying I want to see some shit happen. I want to see some shit go down.
John Barker on the attack against Reese Act for 14th position.
But 3rd place is really close to 2nd, so I'm still watching that.
Andy Blade is also once again trying to get around Enrique Hervas. No offense, Andy. At this point, I'm not overly certain you're going to get it done, whereas I have faith in John Barker. Here he goes down the inside of Reese Act. Could not quite get the job done, but Act goes off the track. He's outbraked himself. This is going to give Barker the position.
Is he acting the fool?
A little bit. Looks like he'll also probably lose 15th place to... No, he's regained ahead of Lucas Beluski for the time being.
On my screen, I have Grande Ricardo Derucci, currently, or DeRoche. Sorry, I'm stuck on Eastern European pronunciation. Grande Ricardo is pushing the pace and perhaps punching the face.
We ride on board with Lucas Beluski, who had a little bit of contact there with Reese Act. We'll see if he can make a pass on Mr. Act in the near future here. As long as something tremendous doesn't happen elsewhere, we'll stick with this battle for the moment. We saw Reese crack under pressure from John Barker and lose a spot there.
My Martin Eismo, he is coming through with the butterscotch slide, and he tried to do the inside-outside, did not work so good.
I'll tell you who's actually making up some good ground is Wesley Stokes. We were talking about him having one of the largest gaps in the grid, about 11 seconds. He's got that down to 8.3. So Wesley charging back from his earlier contact issue.
But if he gets any closer, he's going to get bundled.
We had 3 separate battles going on there, and unfortunately no one made a pass. Lucas Beluski, though, might have it here. He's on the tail of Reese Act in the 3rd of the Pro Handicap cars. And it's getting interesting because James Butler is right on their tail now at this point. So Butler could see them come to blows here.
Get him.
I don't think that there's really anything on there going around the outside for Maluski, but he's got the inside line heading into the final corner. Can he get it done? He might be able to. Reese is going a little bit deep. What a great job of controlling the car. Reese is still in front in this battle for 15th, which is now a 3-car battle. Going down the inside is the car of James Butler. 3 wide. And Butler is through. Butler got both of them.
I'm going to start singing Fat Bottom Girls in my head now since you said 3 wide.
Lucas Maluski does get the job done on Reese Act, who's the big loser in this. He drops to 17th position. But the big winner is James Butler, who jumped both cars with a fantastic overtake down the inside. Balls of steel from the Butler.
And also pistons of steel.
We ride on board with Andy Blade, who is all over the back end of Enrique Hervas.
Well, he likes it like that, huh?
Oh, Hervas gets a little bit wide. Andy's finally through. Andy's through! After a long time of working, Andy Blade is through. But can he stay that way?
Yeah. I don't know if that's a permanent adjustment or we'll find out.
Hervas is on his tail once again. Actually, there are 4 pro handicap cars. I was miscounting earlier when I said Reese Act was the 3rd.
Pro handy. Oh, your boy Martin. Wait. Oh no. Martin was through, and then he fucked it all up. Martin, what the
hell? His attack has gone down now. Man, oh my, wow. Nico's had the gap down to Parginos down to 0.003 of a second. It's very close. He still didn't make the pass happen, though.
I believe Martin, he should have to listen to at least one Striper album for screwing that all up.
But possible.
So, Mike, have you ever tried this track with, like, a van?
Actually, have.
Nice. I know they did that on Top Gear. That was fucking hilarious.
There was a game back in the day called Race 07. It came out in 2007,
oh, yeah.
Obviously.
No, I remember you playing that.
And it was a highly moddable game. R Factor is perhaps more moddable, but there were a number of mods for it. Yeah, we did take out... we did, with a group called Presto GP, we did a really weird race where you could bring vans and Volkswagen Beetles and pickup trucks. And, and station wagons to race it out. I think the mod was called Motley Racing or something. It was done by a British guy.
Somebody bring a hearse.
Just to point out, Andy Blade, after all that time being stuck behind Enrique Hervas, is 8+ seconds behind Dale Smith. So that's the price of being in a fight for that long.
Yeah, there's a pretty tight battle there for between 7th and 6th, but the gap to catch up with Felipe is substantial, and then the gap to catch up with the Manchurian candidate is more substantial.
interesting to see that Papa Mihail and Parginos, they do take a very different line into that first turn. Which is
I've noticed that. Every time they do that, I'm like, oh, here comes the pass. No pass.
Definitely seems to be favoring Parginos if he could, or Papa Mihail, pardon me, if he could just find a way past.
Yeah.
And if these two are in any way working together, it may be a good idea to let Papa Mihail pass away, because Taha Mali is... I don't think Parginos has really the chance to catch him. Though we never know, because there is still quite a bit of time left.
Still an hour to go, but I mean, he's had 15 laps, and the gap hasn't... sometimes it's closed, but it's not always the case, and certainly not on this lap particularly. So you may want to... that or I just kind of expect Papa Mihail to give him the pit maneuver at some point and just spin him off the track.
It's always possible.
It's like, listen, we're promoting you to super pro handicap.
We've had a pretty decent fight going on between Visar Jacoli and Alex Loeffler for a little bit, which we've given no real love to, this battle for 8th place, because it's not gotten super exciting. But with the things a little bit settled right now, let's tune in to the battle of Albania versus Germany.
Germany wins because they're more organized.
Martin Edmonds is on the attack again against Richard DeRoche.
Mm-hmm.
He's got it
down. Close that gap.
Got it down to less than 0.2 of a second for a bit there.
Yeah, he was. Oh, Lord have mercy. He's dead. That guy's dead. R.I.P. Grande Ricardo.
Indeed. Getting the job done. Martin Edmonds is through.
The Intimidator. I'm just going to be right behind you until you fuck up that bad.
Like, the problem is he screwed up once or twice while following him.
Absolutely, 100%.
Visar Jacoli pulling out some of the tricks, trying to break the draft of Alex Loeffler, but Loeffler is following him and maybe headed down the inside here at turn 1. Not quite on yet. This is, of course, the Nürburgring, which a little bit of trivia for you, Byron. Here, you know that Nordschleife track that we've looked at a number of times.
Isn't it like half the Nürburgring or something?
This is the smaller version. This is like the track version. If you go to Nordschleife, you'll notice that parts of this track are part of the Nordschleife. Yeah. And then you head out to the countryside.
Oh, goodness. Nordschleife, a.k.a. Thugschleife. Always look on the bright side of Schleife.
This racetrack actually produced one of the most exciting races I ever saw. It was the Formula One Grand Prix of Europe 1999, back when they were having 2 races in Germany and calling one the European Grand Prix to get around having 2. It was a race that it seemed like no one actually wanted to win.
You know what? One's the West German and one's the East German Grand Prix. Come on.
Problem is they're both kind of in West Germany, so even that doesn't really work.
Shut up.
But what it was is like it seemed like no one wanted to win. Like David Coulthard crashed out of the league. Ralf Schumacher lost the lead when he went off the track. Giancarlo Fisichella crashed out, giving the lead back to Ralf Schumacher before Ralf Schumacher's left rear tire gave out and caused him to retire. Heinz-Harald Frentzen was leading for a long time, and he retired with electronic issues.
Nice.
And in the end...
Loeffler, what are you doing?
Loeffler trying to go around the outside of Visar Jacoli. I don't think it's on, though.
Visar was humping that fucking curb like a bastard, and Loeffler just did not capitalize. What the hell?
Did not capitalize on the super defensive line that Jacoli took there. But anyways, and a lot of people watching this probably already know the deal with this. Hang on. Let's see if Loeffler can get it done here in the first corner. He's got the overlap, and he's got it. Elbows out. I think he's got it.
No, I don't think.
Visar comes back.
Little bump and grind.
Little bump and grind there from Visar Jacoli. Loeffler is through. I think Loeffler's got this.
Man's Loeffler.
Alex Loeffler up into, at least for now, 8th position. But Visar, he's still very much on the tail here, showing him that Albanian tenacity that, as a Yugoslavian, I'm very familiar with.
I harass my friend Nico at work all the time about secretly being Albanian.
Ooh.
It's
How does that
funny.
go for you?
Oh, it's hilarious. He's a good sport. Apparently, he told me the other day I'm the only one of his friends that actually makes jokes about, ethnicity and stuff, which isn't racist. Calm down, everybody out there.
Well, technically not. It's ethnicist, if any.
Yeah, it's just, apparently none of his friends really go for Greek jokes, and I make every Greek joke possible. He asked me something or other. I can't remember. He asked me something about Greece, or like the perception of Greece. I'm like, well, there's the whole 300 thing, but then there's also, you guys, the thing. He's like, what? No, I don't understand. I'm like, well, don't you never heard the term going Greek? No.
Oh! Hey, to interrupt, but Visar taking a slight detour, shall we say?
Oh, drastic.
Loses a spot there to Dale Smith, so Visar Jacoli dropping back through the field at the moment.
So apparently Nico had never heard the...
Oh! Visar pulls off and retires.
Oh no!
We've lost our second car in this race. Visar Jacoli out along with Pinky Mo.
I bet if he was Montenegrin, he wouldn't let that happen. Ethnicity. That should be a thing. Somebody get me a Mortal Kombat mod.
Ooh.
Ethnicity!
Ethnicity. Anyways, to finish that whole story I was talking about, as someone...
Oh yeah, you were telling a story before I was telling a story.
Yeah, telling a story about the race here in '99 for the European Grand Prix. At the end of the day, the race was won by Johnny Herbert for a team called Stewart Grand Prix, which is, of course, Jackie Stewart's team. 3-time Formula 1 world champion. And this was their final year in existence. They'd agreed to sell the team to Ford, which became Jaguar from 2000 onwards, and is now Red Bull, for the record. And they had agreed to sell...
Wait, time out. What would happen if you gave that much Red Bull to a Jaguar? Ponder that.
Ooh,
Continue.
a lot of dead people. But anyways, Johnny Herbert, who had been having a pretty miserable season up until that point, being pretty much beaten up by Rubens Barrichello and the Stewart team. And he won the race that no one wanted to win. Jarno truly scored second for Prost, which was a team struggling on finances and had barely scored any points that season as well. They had like 2 points up until that point. Mm-hmm. Got a second place. And Rubens took third for Stewart. So here's Stewart standing with 2 cars on the podium after it had been announced they were selling their team to Ford. And then somehow Ford effed it up, because in 2000 the Jaguar team just didn't do anything with Eddie Irvine and Johnny Herbert as their driver.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Well, I mean, that's Ford for you.
And it was also, and it gets even more interesting, because of course one of the things is, of course, Ferrari and McLaren were the 2 big teams at the time, and Jordan was the 3rd team, and none of those teams on the podium was pretty stunning. We have lost John Pache, or he's just gone into the pit stop, I'm not sure which. Wesley Stokes passing Reese Act for a position as well in 16th there. But anyways, what I was getting to is Luca Badour, who is a kind of a lovable back marker for a lovable back marking team called Minardi, was running in 4th place with I want to say 2 laps to go. He had never scored a point in his Formula 1 career, and never would, despite actually driving a little bit for Ferrari. And he's running around in 4th place. This would be one of the best finishes Minardi's ever had. It would be the best finish Minardi's ever had, because they never took a podium. And his car smoke just starts coming off the back of his car. And a half lap later, it pulls off to the side of the road, retiring out of the race with an engine failure. And he's literally crying on the car, because this was it was easily one of the most heartbreaking moments I think I've ever seen in F1. Now the bright side is it did let his teammate Marc Genet score a single point for 6th place, because it promoted him to 6th. And Minardi managed, that was the last point Minardi scored for a long time, until the Australian Grand Prix of 02 with Mark Webber, which was a race that had 6 cars finished, so not super amazing.
Oh, well, I mean, what if he took all the rest of them out? I'm imagining him just being a road warrior, just destroying all other cars. I will finish.
It was
points.
Oh, the Greek's pit maneuver.
I was waiting for it to happen.
Papa Mihail looks like he's gonna get the position back though.
Gonna pop him right in the mouth. That's what he's gonna pop.
Dissension within the pro handicap team. So anyways,
well,
that was the 99 European Grand Prix, which if you ever wonder, because a lot of people defend Formula 1 right now, a lot of people attack it saying it's become boring and it's not like it used to be, and people defend it's like, nah, it's kind of always been like this. I'm like, watch the 99 European Grand Prix and you will see some shit.
What you need to do is you need to watch the movie Rush, because that is a documentary, frame by frame, exactly how it happened.
It's actually not far off, to be honest.
No, yeah, I've done a little research. I really like that movie, and I did a little bit of research. I'm like, wow, they got a lot of this stuff right.
James Hunt's only Formula 1 world title in 1976.
Dude had balls of steel when he had to have them, and then he just like, yeah, I was the best. I'm gonna run around with my fucking shoes off and drink. Can't really blame him.
James Hunt definitely one of the also a hero. In '78, which was 2 years after the Rush movie, Ronnie Peterson, who might have made an appearance in the Rush movie, just as kind of like a background figure or whatever.
Yeah, maybe.
He had an accident at the Grand Prix of Italy at Monza, and James Hunt was one of the drivers who helped free him from his car when there was carnage everywhere. And no one was really looking at Ronnie, unfortunately, because this tale does have a sad ending. Because another driver, Bruno Giacomella, had his car upside down, and there was a lot of concern about him having neck injuries and stuff. So the doctors were over there, and Ronnie had fucked up his legs badly to the point where James Hunt is quoted as saying he took his jacket off and put it over Ronnie's legs to keep Ronnie from looking at them.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Ronnie died of an embolism later on, and is one of, I believe, the only Formula 1 race car driver to be posthumously the runner-up in the championship, as his teammate Mario Andretti won.
That's nice.
The Lotus team at the time were very dominant.
Well, that's
and Lotus has a weird history with death, to be honest, because in 1970 Jochen Rindt won the Formula 1 world title for Lotus and became the only to date posthumous champion to do so, because he died with something like 3 races to go in the season.
I believe the word you're looking for is posthumous.
Posthumous, pardon me.
I mean, posthumanus, you're not, probably, and if you look it up in Latin, probably not wrong. He is definitely not humanus anymore. Definitely post.
Mike O'Leary is now on the back of Enrique Herbas, so we're back to this.
Enrique, what's going on, buddy? Enrique, I'm used to you being in absolutely first place. Not just first place, it's a foregone conclusion because you're 70 seconds ahead of everybody.
I am tipping my hat, though, to Mike O'Leary, who's a Division 3 driver having an absolute blast of a race in 12th play.
You betcha.
Doing fantastic work and putting the pressure on. The man who dominated the ESR RLM servers for Division 2 and 3, Enrique Herbas.
O'Leary's about to hit him with that birthday candle trick from Vietnam.
Also, he's in that gorgeous Rotec.
There's that Grande Ricardo DeRucci guy.
Yeah, it's good to see Richard coming back against Martin Edmonds after Edmonds...
Oh my goodness, we've had a lead change.
We have had a lead change. Taha's just in the pits for fuel.
Okay. He's gonna be back.
You can see him actually in the shot of what I'm showing right now. He's the standings are blocking it, but he's in the pit lane taking his pit stop. We will see a pit stop from each of these cars.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, I was looking at the standings, going, "Oh my goodness! Oh wait, no, he's dropping back quite rapidly. I believe he's probably just not moving at all in the pits. Either that, or it's all gone to hell."
Gone absolutely to hell. Looks like Taha has exited the pit lane in 8th position, right on the tail of Alex Loeffler.
Y'all gonna get some tahini. Tahini Mahali.
And he's already dealt with Loeffler and has moved into 7th place.
Lord have mercy.
He's wasting no time charging back.
Listen, if he gets all the way up into 1st position before somebody else goes in the pits.
He was dominating the leaderboards. He is damn fast driver. James Butler in the pit lane now.
Taha, rock the Casbah.
Bit early for the pits to come into play because we're only about halfway through the race. Just as a general strategy for myself, I like to usually go a little bit beyond the halfway point in the interests of being able to have a bit of a shorter stint at the end.
Well, maybe Taha's just a bigger nerd than you, okay?
Well, I mean, it could just be that a full tank of fuel just couldn't take you to halfway. It could be it. Because you're basically by pitting later, you're saving time in the pit lane refueling because you take less on. Richard DeRoche is all over the back of Martin Edmonds. They're both off. Someone else is off. DeRoche went into the wall.
Martin's drunk.
Fran Machuca, I think Fran Machuca screwed up, I think, going into the pit lane, actually. And that's why he was there. Nikos Papamihail has gone into the pit lane now, so out in front is now Parginos, kind of on his own. There is a very damaged car there. That's a little bit concerning. Who is that car? Could be Lucas Maluski.
Oh my god, Taha just blew past 3 people.
Well, those are the pit laners.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, oh my goodness.
Martin Edmonds, Felipe Fajea, and Nikos Papamihail all hit the pit lane there. Andy Blade is in the pits as well. Oh no, Andy is making his way through there. Okay, so Andy's not pitted. Edmonds is in the pit. Papamihail is out now. He will retain his spot ahead.
I thought I just watched the race version of Fedor just going, no, I'm winning.
Oh, just winning, guy. Michael O'Leary has gotten past Enrique Hervas, but Hervas is trying to come back.
No speeding in the pit lane, gentlemen.
Oh, okay, they're in the pit lane is why that is. Okay. So pit lane activity here for a number of the cars.
Wesley, 2-stroke Stokes. It's a lawnmower engine joke.
Taha Mali is now up into 3rd place. He is the effective leader of the race. The only 2 cars ahead of him are Fran Machuca and Vangelis Parginos, who have both yet to pit. He is definitely within their pit window, as it looks like, 27 seconds or so between him and the lead. That'll easily put him out in the lead. And it is Fran Machuca whose car is significantly damaged, so if I was him, I'd be thinking about a pit stop soon, because he's losing all kinds of ground by going out here with no front end, effectively.
I'd like to point out that Taha is quickly reeling in the Manchurian Candidate. It's pretty gross.
Absolutely. Parginos is in the pit. So Fran Machuca takes over the lead despite the heavy damage to his car.
Damage? Pfft, no big deal.
And he's got the Moroccan on his tail. Morocco, not a country with a tremendous motorsports heritage, to be honest. I can only think of one Moroccan race car driver.
Well, I mean, insert random joke about it being entirely desert here.
Well, they do have a pretty nice racetrack in Marrakesh, which is like a mixed street circuit and permanent circuit. Very interesting track. Not the most fun to actually watch racing at, because overtaking is exceptionally hard. Andy Blade has worked his way up into 3rd position, but he still has to pit. That's not a legit 3rd.
That's not... He doesn't have to if he doesn't want to. It's not mandatory.
You really... Neither the tires nor the gas tank will take you to the end of this race.
It's not mandatory. Doesn't have to.
It's true. It isn't mandatory.
Andy Blade can get by on pure hatred.
Taha may get back to taking the lead here without even waiting for everyone to pit.
That's what I was saying earlier. Is like, what if he can retake first before anybody can get out of the pits?
He is within 0.8 of a second of the lead right now.
Taha, rock the Casbah Molly. Sharif don't like it. Rock the Casbah, rock the... Sorry, what?
Lucas Maluski is currently in the pit lane. So he's making his, hopefully, only pit stop.
Armpit or other? Oh, here he goes, here he goes.
This is risky as hell from top.
Get him! Get him, Taha, get him! Oh.
This is risky as hell.
Oh, he did it! He did it!
But he is through. He is through into the lead.
Amazing. He's not only in the lead, but he's pulling away. Holy shit. Everybody else just quit. Don't do that. It would be less entertaining. Don't listen. I need more chaos.
Looking at the absolute lead here, I'm just checking the gap after the pit stops have kind of been handled. Taha Mali has a 28-second lead over Nikos Papamihail, who is the proper second-place car. He's currently shown in 4th place because Andy has not pitted and Fran has not pitted. But yeah, things are definitely shaking out the Moroccans' way at this point. That is for sure.
It's time for some Moroccan roll. Oh, you know what I should have done? Every time Martin Edmonds was on screen, I should have just gone into like total death metal's growl.
Felipe Fajea putting a lot of pressure on John Barker right now. Barker, I don't believe, is pitted. Either that or he had a fantastic pit stop.
Thank you and good night.
Felipe is through back into 6th place. Martin Edmonds will be next up to try to get past the non-pitted car Barker, who's probably on pretty worn-out tires at this point.
I've switched from whiskey and cola to wine so as not to completely obliterate my ability to maneuver my vocal apparatus before the end of the race.
It's probably a good plan.
Yeah, well, I thought so.
So we're still waiting on Fran Machuca and Andy Blade to pit. We think John Barker also still has yet to pit.
Told you Andy Blade does not have to pit. He can do whatever he wants.
Doesn't have to, but it is advisable. Put it that way.
2 tanks of fuel, one's in the back seat.
I think those 3 oh, Wesley Stokes. Wesley Stokes also has yet to pit. So I think we're down to only 4 cars that that still need to pit.
Correct. Waiting for Mr. Barker to do something horrible to somebody. I don't know why I expect that. I think it's because of the extremely bright car. I just expected to T-bone somebody.
Dale Smith putting the pressure on the yet-to-pit Wesley Stokes for 9th position.
Here comes the whale. Hartford Whalers color, you pointed out before we went on broadcast. So well done, Mr. Dale Smith.
Mm-hmm. It was the car I was going to run before I retracted my booking.
Well, you're not going to book yourself to win?
Nah.
What kind of pro wrestling circuit is this?
I'm the booker who actually cannot put himself over. That's...
Oh, well, I suppose.
I'm not Kevin Knapp.
or Dusty Rhodes.
Well, Dusty, in his defense, I've always said was probably the best case was to put him over.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Dusty always put himself over so that he could have the villain defeat him.
There was method to his madness. Dale Smith is through on Wesley Stokes. It looks like Stokes more or less just gave up that position, probably coming to pits relatively soon.
Gosh darn it, Wesley!
Martin Edmonds has gotten through on John Barker. I think Barker might be in the pit lane, judging by the growing gap there.
Is he minding the gap?
Fran Machuca is still circulating. I don't think that this is a great plan, because he's driving a damaged car.
Yeah, he's losing time with basically almost every passing second. And with a damaged car, I would assume you want to get that shit taken care of right now.
Absolutely. We're definitely in the fuel window. I frankly would have expected him to be one of the early ones in, because he sustained that damage pretty early in the pit lane window. Wesley Stokes is still circulating, yet to pit. Andy Blade, yet to pit. John Barker is in the pit lane.
Have to pit.
I didn't say he has to. I said yet to.
Stop harassing. Stop harassing Andy Blade.
John Barker in the pit lane, dropping back. We will keep an eye out to see where he rejoins. Probably behind Enrique Hervas. Which, if anything, if this race has taught us anything, is not really where you want to be.
Nope. Big old Ricky Eggs. He's gonna spool the huevos right out in your face, and you're not gonna pass.
Actually, he is rejoined in 14th position behind Mike O'Leary.
Oh no, we got Jay Butler and Jay Barker. I'm gonna get so confused.
They're not particularly close to each other. That's the thing. But the gap is closing.
Mind that gap. I noticed that there's a little bit of a brand racism going on here with all of these cars.
With them all being Audis.
Yeah.
It's a spec series.
Well, that's just blatantly racist.
Riding on board here with Fran Machuca, because we've been talking about the damage to his car, and I want to see kind of the effects of it from his cockpit. And you can kind of see it, like he's having a hard time getting proper entries into the corners, and even really just having great speed going down any straightaway, because of course the aerodynamic efficiency of his car is very off.
You need to get your passport in order, cannot gain entry.
I mean, the advantage of staying out is that he will have a significantly short stay in the pit lane. Very little fuel to take on. But at some point, you've got to ask, what is that worth when you're losing in the neighborhood of 2 seconds a lap?
Yeah, and the Greek Freak, or the Greek Fleet, if you will, they're closing that gap. They're closing that gap down. So the longer you're out there with the damage to everything under the sun, even I have to question that strategy. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Andy Blade has entered and exited pits in 9th position. That'll be effectively an 8th, because he will overtake Wesley Stokes when Wesley finally makes his pit stop.
I'm a little disappointed, Andy. I mean, you just need to believe harder. You could have finished the whole race. You could have done it without pitting.
For another 30 minutes? I don't think so.
Yeah, no problem. I'm telling you, man, that extra gas tank in the back seat, no problem.
She got a siphoning hose that just comes out and robs nearby cars of their gas.
A little harpoon. That's mine now. You got to pit.
And Fran Machuca is continuing on for another lap. He's still not going into the pit lane.
He is a steely-eyed missile man, I'll give you that. But is it brains, lack of brains, or or way too many balls? I don't know. Maybe his math's off.
I think it's probably the latter, because Fran's a smart guy. He's normally a very quality racer and quality strategist. So
you're saying the reason he's losing time to first place is his balls are just too fucking heavy.
He's gaining a little bit of time there. It looks like perhaps Taha Mali proved to be human and may have actually made a mistake.
I don't know if that's gonna. The time's the split's increasing. Yeah, I think that was just a corner.
Well, no, it went down a couple of tenths there. It makes me think Taha made a slight error.
I don't know.
Andy Blade all over the back of Wesley Stokes. Keep in mind that Wesley Stokes is on theoretically a really worn rubber. I shouldn't really say that because I don't know if they're actually doing a tire change or not in these pit stops. I think it may just be a fuel pit stop, but the lack of pace the guys who have been going on for a while makes me think the tires were also swapped. Andy making very quick work of Wesley and taking over 8th position. The pit stops have worked out pretty well for Andy because we were talking about Andy being kind of a ways back, but by running long, he's jumped Richard DeRoche, Alex Loeffler in the standings, and
he doesn't have to deal with the menace that is Ricky Eggs.
That's true, and he's up into 8th place.
Indeed. It's really weird to see Enrique Hervas at least not in the top 3.
And did not finish below 2nd place during the Invitationals.
The 2nd place was kind of surprising.
Got beaten on that day by one Ewan O'Leary at the Slovakia.
O'Leary?
O'Leary. So Wesley Stokes still circulating around without having pitted. Fran Machuca also circulating, not having pitted. These two are going really long.
Yep. I beg of you, anybody listening to this commentary, please, dear Lord, watch the movie Black Dynamite. So every time I go, O'Leary, you know what I'm talking about. I need that to be... the movie's fantastic. Watch it, enjoy it, and then we can all be in on the joke.
He's not wrong. It's a fantastic film.
It's fantastic.
Some of Michael J. White's best.
Yeah, is it? Okay, so I've been confused about that for a long time. Is it Michael J. White or Michael Jai White?
I've seen it pronounced both ways, and I think the more common one I've seen is Michael J. White. But
yeah,
if anyone.
But then there's the Australian actor. Is it Jai Courtney or Jay Courtney?
It's Jai Courtney.
Is it? Okay, so I think they're spelled the same way.
Yeah, I don't know fully.
Is he from Jailand?
Maybe.
Very confused.
The Greek fleet is still circulating with Papa Mihail ahead of Parginos now. They're in 3rd and 4th place, though effectively 2nd and 3rd still. They're catching up to Fran Machuca.
Papa Mihail, better ingredients, better pizza.
Nice work. Nice work.
I knew there was something there. Oh, I'm going to be very proud of myself for the next 10 minutes. You're welcome.
Solid pun, sir. I like it.
Yes. Nikos, if you don't understand that, I can totally explain it to you. Just DM me on Discord.
Richard DeRoche now coming up to Wesley Stokes. Battle for 9th place nominally, but not effective. Wesley, of course, still to pit. And at this point is probably... I'm increasingly thinking that definitely the tire change came into play because Wesley's just not really had any pace in this late stages. I think you might want to dick in or dump. Might want to slip in the pits there.
Go on with the previous metaphor. Let's see where that's going.
Slip into the pits and get himself a tire change.
I'm gonna stick it in deep.
And I think he is actually going into the pit lane now. Yep, Wesley Stokes into the pit.
He is totally stoked.
So where will he come out?
Right behind some people.
Let's see here. He's 1 minute 24 behind. He'll probably come out around Michael O'Leary and John Barker is my general guess on that.
You are way better at math than I, even if I'm sober. I would like to point out that Taha is reaching Enrique Hervas levels of I have the lead and fuck you.
That's true. He's up 25 plus seconds over Fran Machuca, who still needs to make a pit stop. And on top of that, he's That puts him about 32 seconds over the Greek fleet.
Y'all better unfurl your sails and get with the business.
Wesley Stokes in the pit lane. He's just lost. He's dropping a little bit further than I thought he would. He's behind. He's going to rejoin behind Reese Act in 16th position.
Oh yeah, listen. If Wesley forms his own team and it's not called Totally Stoked Racing, I can't help you with life.
I was just going to go with the Stokers, but yeah, that also. Free advice there for you, Wesley.
I'm good at this.
He is good at naming things.
Indeed. Things seem to stick. And if Mr. Loeffler doesn't name his team a Lofty Racing, I can't help you with life. So, Mike, how drunk are we going to go watching NXT later?
NXT's on live tonight, correct?
Yeah. We're watching it.
Yeah, we could probably watch it live for a change. So
I think it's actually, I believe this show starts here in like 8 minutes, but I don't know if there's pre-show for an NXT. I'm going to guess by the time we're done commentating. Ooh, nice. By the time we are finished commentating, they will, on a certain website, there may be a first 15 minutes kind of uploaded going on there.
Might very much be.
Indeed. And I looked at the card earlier, and the women's title match, I don't want to say it, but the women's title match is definitely the lame duck on the card.
Yeah, 100%. They don't have a particularly effective women's main event scene right now.
No, well, even if they give a certain person who is not champion the win, it's because somebody's going up to the main roster. That doesn't mean you're good or even sufficient. You're just the person we kind of have in that spot right now. But tune into the Squared Circle Jerks podcast probably on Monday or Tuesday, and we will have better answers for you.
Indeed. Fran Machuca is currently under pressure from a car that he's lapped. I believe that is Wesley... No, that's not Wesley Stokes. Could be James Butler.
It seems like a bad plan.
No, it is not James Butler. Looks like at some point we lost John Pachea from the race.
No! Juanito, why you do this to me?
James Butler's car is looking a little bit messed up and is currently being lapped by Taha Mal.
John Prosciutto Pachea.
Oh no, John's still out there. Looks like he's made a second pit stop. Was why he was grayed out for a bit.
Probably a little bumpy grind.
Might not have taken. Well, also could possibly a fuel air calculation, not realizing how much he was going to need.
72 picograms.
I know that even I have made that mistake. So.
What?
C Chang.
I thought you were. You're supposed to be the king nerd.
There are lapses even for nerds.
I suppose.
The Greek fleet is rapidly catching Fran Machuca, who is still kind of battling with a car that is down a lap to him. Still not sure who that car is, to be honest.
Isn't that not a thing that is supposed to be done? Aren't you supposed to get out of the way?
It's kind of the opposite scenario here, where Fran has lapped the car behind him, but the car behind him, because of Fran's damage, is actually the faster car right now. And probably the fact that Fran's tires, as he is not pitted, are probably very worn down.
Yeah, no, I understand. I would also like to point out that your boy Andrew Blade is racing for Colin Motorsports, which is funny.
True.
Sorry.
His teammate, his car mate Visar Jacoli out of the race, unfortunately.
No.
Along with Pinky Mo.
Well, that sucks.
An interesting problem right now, though. What do you do as Fran Machuca? Do you let this lap car go? Or do you keep holding him behind you? I believe the car is actually Lucas Maluski's car.
That could very well be. But, I mean, I was mostly joking about Andy Blade not needing to pit earlier, but I'm sure that the Manchurian candidate over here really needs to get in the pits at some point. Yeah, we got 20 minutes left.
I mean, if he thinks he can actually make it to the end, if he's fuel managed to the level that he can make it to the end, this whole staying out with the damage would...
That was a little squirrely.
Potentially pay off, but it's at this point not really getting him a better position because, if you recall, he was running in 4th place before he took the damage, and he's about to be relegated, I think, to 4th place relatively shortly.
At best. And then he's got I mean, I'm assuming tire wear affects your performance, and as 20 minutes elapses, even if you've got the fuel, your grip is going to be a little suspect there, bud.
I mean, the fact that a car that was a lap down was all over his back end for a number of laps there definitely suggests there is some significant issues going on with his pit.
Yeah.
Andy Blade is on the tail of Dale Smith, looking to get up in his 7th place.
Stick it in him.
So we're kind of haranguing Fran Machuca's pit stop strategy, but Andy Blade going long has, I think, worked out in his favor. He's cleared some traffic by getting
Fran Machuca now in 4th place.
Yeah.
And he still should probably pit.
And I would say that Felipe Fajea and Martin Edmonds in a couple of laps will probably be more or less up on.
I would say you are correct.
Andy Blade once again involved in a battle. Let's see if this one goes better than his one against Enrique Hervas.
You mean that loser back at 11th place? Pfft, whatever.
This man is God! How dare
By the way, if anybody takes personal offense to my comments, suck it up, princess.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you yet.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not along for the ride so far, you don't understand my level of humor and the fact that I really don't mean 98% of what I say, which isn't accurate either. I didn't mean that 98%. Ho ho, metagaming. Yeah, I mean, if you're not along for the ride so far, you need to backtrack a little bit.
Well, Andy Blade still tagging along with Dale Smith here. Not really much else on offer for Andy. Basically, his choice rate at this point is get past Dale Smith, pick up a 7th place finish, and then the only other thing would be where do the cars fall with Fran Machuca, who is going around for another lap at this point.
Whatever works, homie. I would request that Reese ATK change his last name to AK-47, just because I think it'd be funny. You're almost there.
Pretty much. And I don't believe it's actually his last name because it's capital A, small t, capital K.
It's probably Atkinson.
Could be. Oh, you can tell Andy wants to get around Dale Smith really badly right now. The language, the body language of that car is pure attack.
The blade's gonna stick it in you. Hailing from the most sexist city in the world, Manchester. Now a proud resident of the superior nation of Canada.
True.
Oh, he's dead. Andy dead. Andy died.
Andy had a moment there.
I think he may or may not be drunk. Too many new
I'll tell you who lost out in the pit stops. That was Richard DeRoche, who was battling for 5th place and is now back in 9th.
That seems not good.
Picking up once again with Fran Machuca, who is... Well, when we last looked at him, he was about 7 seconds up on Felipe Fejea. That gap is down to about 3.
Felipe closing in. The Fertada.
And further back, and a further 6.5 seconds back is Martin Edmonds, who is closing on both of these cars.
Get him, Butterscotch. You go, boy. That'd be ideal, right? We get an all-Canadian podium, just spin out all these weird foreigners.
Unfortunately, top Canadian is in 6th place. It gets pretty Canadian after that. 8th and 9th are Canadian.
Go, Canada. We push that goddamn pedal.
Just 3 Canadians on the grid today, with the absence of Rick Martel and, of course, Darcy Parkinson.
Well, I mean, if Darcy wasn't such a quitter, this might, be good. I've heard that Mr. Speedy Gonzalez is going to move to Canada because it's clearly the better place to be.
The gap between Machuca and Fejea is now down to less than a second, so... I am asking a lot of questions of Fran Machuca's strategy department right now.
Yeah, it's a bold strategy, Cotton. I don't know if it's really going to pay off. Because at some point, right near the end of the race, you're either going to have to pit or quit. Can you put enough fuel in one of these cars to make it the whole... Oh, bumper grind! Eddie, you dirty, dirty bitch. I like it. Keep doing that. I like it. Oh, inside, outside. Hello, nurse. Nope. Shut the door.
Dale Smith versus Andy Blade continuing.
But can you put enough fuel in one of these cars to make it the entire race?
I haven't really done a lot of research on it because I assumed the answer was no. I made the assumption, and perhaps I'm incorrect, that the answer was no, because very few cars can go 90 minutes without making a pit stop for fuel.
I was going to say, because Felipe just took 4th place, so the Manchurian candidate may have made an error.
Mm-hmm.
Being brainwashed as he is.
I mean, we have to ask the question, we didn't see him pit. Maybe did he pit? But everything points to he did not pit, because of course he took the lead over the Greek fleet in Taha Mali earlier on. He didn't seemingly fix the damage if he did pit after taking it.
I would like to point out that Taha Mali's lead is well into what I'm used to seeing your boy Enrique Hervas pulling over everybody else.
It's pretty much 40 plus seconds at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Martin Edmonds has closed down to under 3 seconds away from Fran Machuca for now 5th place. So I feel like that's probably going to be a position change in the very near future.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5th. I played a 5th.
As we hop on the Butterscotch Express.
Tasty. You go, Martin. Go, you drive the thing, you put the pedal.
The Bob Odenkirk team.
Yeah. Good old Bob Odenkirk. He's a bit of a nut job.
I think almost most actors are a little bit of a nut job.
Correct. Whoa, what was that sound? Was it some sort of porno?
It was a beat from the laptop.
Laptop?
Those who are unfamiliar with the process of being able to use the director without alt-tabbing, you run it on a laptop basically beside you, and you can manipulate things with that.
Dude, all I have to do is click on a different monitor, the whole game shuts down.
Yeah, but if you're recording, that means the recording shuts down.
Yeah, I know. Just record your desktop for like 90 minutes. Oops.
Reese Att is under pressure from Mr. James Butler, who's looking to make a charge in here to 14th position.
You are about to be buttled.
James Butler, a little bit of damage to the front of his car. He's lost a headlight.
Mr. Juan Barker being loud and fast. At one point it was Jay Barker and Jay Butler neck and neck, and then Mr. Jay Barker, he gone.
I think perhaps Mr. Butler made a mistake at some point that would explain why he ended up behind Reese Act in the process.
Could be, but that's a big lead between 13 and 14.
And John Barker closing in on Mike O'Leary.
O'Leary?
Indeed. Little over 2 seconds between those two cars now at this point.
The old pie on the windowsill trick from Don.
And James Butler losing the track a little bit there, and that will give Reese Act some breathing room for the time being.
Wasn't there a song with breathing room in there?
There's a couple.
I'll have to investigate that. My brain and songs and random phrases. Sorry. Carry on.
We resume our favorite scheduled program, Andy Blade trying to hunt someone down.
Get him, Andy!
It's all over the back of Dale Smith, and he's been there for a while and has not been able to make the pass happen.
Actually, I believe it's pronounced Smythe from the Connecticut Smythes.
Going around the outside, but the inside line is there for Dale Smith to retain the position. Richard DeRoche is the man benefiting off of this a lot. He's catching up a lot in the background. He's got it down to under 2.5 seconds.
Grande Ricardo making moves. Whoa, that's a little synchronized swimming. Very nice.
And these two are rapidly closing on Fran Machuca, so it may not matter if Fran pits. He may have to deal with these two anyways. Although at this point, he's at the point where if he can make it to the end, I would not even really recommend pitting anymore, because if he pits, he's going to drop way back.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if he pits now, will he even come out in the top 15?
Yes. He's definitely got the gap back to at least like Reese Act.
No.
Probably Enrique Hervas as well. I would say he probably comes out in about 11th place.
I'll take that bet.
Maybe 10th. Andy Blade
I have no way of really regulating this in my mind.
Andy Blade had gotten the job done against Dale Smith, but now has slipped back from him and is now slowly falling into the clutches of Richard DeRoche.
Delicious. Gosh darn it, Andrew. You've let the side down.
A little bit. BC is mourning the loss of potential 7th.
We will have you deported back to Scotland.
I was gonna say Guernsey, but yeah.
Whoa. We'll have you deported. What's the chain of islands like north of Scotland?
Isn't that the Freyord Islands, or is that somewhere else?
The Faroe?
Faroe.
We'll have you deported to the Faroe Islands. No, there's another one. I can't remember what they're called, but there's a small chain of islands just northeast of Scotland, and they look barren and decrepit, and I think that's probably where we should set them.
I mean, it would make sense as a place to exile someone for sure.
Exactly. Just a hop, skip, and a jump away from another Viking invasion.
Absolutely. Return of modern Viking.
Yar. Mecha Vikings. That'd be the gangsterest shit in the world.
So on the Machuca watch, these guys are now about 13 seconds behind Frank. And he's going for it again! And he's... Oh, God! He's not getting it!
Dang it, Andrew. The string in his leg is gone.
Andy Blade on an absolute mad push here, and it looks like Machuca has finally pitted.
Dear Lord.
Fran Machuca in the pits. We'll see where he comes out. Depends how long it takes to fix that damage, or if he elects to fix the damage at all. Andy Blade again putting the pressure all over Dale Smith. This is now for 6th place, with Machuca finally in the pit lane.
The Greek fleet is actually still losing time. What the fuck?
Can't keep up with Taha Map.
You spread the tahini over everything, and you can suck it.
Richard DeRoche now right on the tail of Andy Blade now. Andy, you got something on your tail? It's big, black, and German. It's coming for you.
There's something on the wing. Some thing.
I officially would like to thank Darcy Parkinson for inspiring the big German stuff from the drop-in race last night. James Butler is also all over the back of Reese Act and has just taken the position. It's gone back, so actually we're going to tune into that real quick. It looks like it's resolved itself. Sorry, Reese and James. Looks like you guys had a fantastic scrap. But we're watching Andy Blade versus Dale Smith round 170.
I'm going to go with your boy DeRoche. Gives one pit maneuver that leads him to 2 and then just takes off and wins.
Wow. Takes 6th place.
It's good enough.
And he's around the outside again! No!
Oh, he did.
But he lost the track! Now Richard's on the attack!
Oh, little bumper grind. Richard failed to deploy his wheel spikes.
Richard failing to make things happen there, unfortunately for him. Massive opportunity. And Dale Smith is the happiest guy on the track right now because he's getting to slide away. Fran Machuca has rejoined the action in 11th place, so I was damn on
Well called. Well done, sir. Well done.
And we will have a look at Fran in a moment.
The franchise Machuca.
There he is. It looks like they partially fixed his car. A bit weirdly.
Butler just bumped the shit out of your boy Edk.
We'll hang on with the Resac versus James Butler because they've been having a hell of a fight that we've not been giving the attention to for a while.
It's either. Oh, suck it! Suck it! We're going to the corner.
Oh, it's getting physical.
Daddy likes.
This is opening up the door for Wesley Stokes to close the gap to these.
The franchise Machuca coming in for you. Be interesting to see how many places he can make up in the next 2 minutes and 20 seconds.
Indeed. The interesting thing to me is looking at the outside of his car, I'm not sure if they fixed the front ender.
You don't need a front end. You can just drive fast enough, the air just explodes.
He seems to definitely have his pace back, though, so I'm assuming they did, and it's kind of a graphical glitch. We talked about this at Oh, someone is off!
Lord have mercy.
Someone completely lost it. It was John Pache, I think, who nearly collected both Enrique Hervas and Fran Pachuca.
I'm in favor of it. More credit.
Also hadn't realized this is the battle for Spanish pride right here for 10th place.
Sí, español.
In the meantime, Andy Blade still holding off Richard DeRoche and still trying to catch up to Dale Smith.
Get him down!
Riding on board with Fran Pachuca now. It still looks like the car is not handling great, but it looks better. And he got to the back end of Hervas.
The Greek fleet still losing time. I have to. I mean, you have to take your hats off to Taha. He motherfucker pitted immediately when he needed to, and everybody else can suck fumes.
He timed it beautifully. He came out in relatively open air, Did make, I think, 1 or 2 overtakes in the process, but it's really panned out for him. Enrique Hervas on the attack against Fran Machuca.
Get him, huevos.
Enrique on the attack for a change. We've seen him on the defense all day, pretty much.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's had to.
Andy Blade once. Oh, whoa! What happened to Okay, I think it was just a glitch. I was gonna say Nikos Papamihail was briefly shown not in third place.
Yeah, it was a bit odd.
Dale Smith, Andy Blade, Richard DeRoche covered by just a half second. Oh boy. It might get bloody real soon.
Poke him in the eye!
Sorry to the battle for Spanish pride between Machuca and Hervas, but this is the battle right now. Everything else is largely settled out at this point.
I want to refer to the Greek fleet as the Trireme, but I'm pretty sure that's Roman, not Greek.
That was Greek.
Was it? Well, Greek viewership, let us know.
Trireme was in Age of Empire 1, which was before the Romans were in the game. So.
Oh my goodness. Well, since it's a Trireme, don't they need a third guy?
They do need a third guy, and that'd be Frederico Wagner.
Yeah, boy.
Andy Blade, get the move done. Dale Smith is wide. He's going to lose both spots.
Oh my goodness. Andrew Blade, 6th place. What has the world come to?
Andy Blade into 6th. Richard DeRoche to 7th. 5th, 6th, and 7th are Canadian.
Go Canada. Gonna fucking slap shot you upside the head.
Dale Smith, this may not be over for Dale Smith. He's now under pressure from Alex Loeffler.
Oh my goodness. He gone. Oh.
In fact, Loeffler is through. Dale Smith has had something happen. He is off the track. Dale Smith, he's not moving. Tired. Oh no.
Oh my goodness. He got pocket sand.
A fantastic run for Dale Smith comes to an end. And Richard DeRoche has gotten Andy Blade while I wasn't looking.
They moved the franchise. The whale is no longer.
They did. It's now off to the Carolina Hurricanes.
No! That's always such a garbage cut. The Carolina Hurricanes is such a garbage franchise, thematically speaking.
You know what? I'm more happy about it than all the other moves that happened during that time span.
Well, at least they crippled Quebec. Come on.
I mean, Quebec to Colorado, that's okay. But like Winnipeg to Phoenix.
Yeah,
what is that?
What was that?
James Butler either off the track or in the pit. Looks like he's parked it and retired. Fran Machuca is stopped at the side of the track.
He did.
Has he run out of gas? Did he not put gas in?
That seems like a bad move.
Fran Machuca and James Butler and Dale Smith out at the very end of this race. Were there fuel miscalculations?
I'm going to go with yes.
We are on, I believe, the final lap. I think Taha Mali has already finished the race. He's kind of coasting around.
Easily, yes.
So let's
finished the race 7 laps ago.
Not 7 laps ago.
19 laps ago.
So second place will go to the leader of the Greek fleet, Vangelis Parginos, followed by Nikos Papamihail. Felipe Fajea takes 4th place from Martin Edmonds, Richard DeRoche, Andy Blade. Alex Loeffler, Enrique Hervas inherits the top 10 under somewhat bizarre circumstances, as does Mike O'Leary, congratulations to him. John Barker, Reese Apt, Wesley Stokes, James Butler is classified. It could be that he just pulled off due to the cooldown lap. Lucas Beluski and John Pachea, with the late retirements of Fran Machuca and Dale Smith joining Visar Jacoli and Pinky Mo in the DNF row.
I would like to point out that your boy Rock the Casbah had the quickest lap by almost half a second.
Indeed.
Which is kind of substantial.
Substantial in all ways, and I think I may have cracked.
You are the crash.
Yeah, I think it was just the server switching over. So we seem to be good.
I am the best.
All right, that is all for our commentary today, and I hope you enjoyed it. Tomorrow we'll be dropping our Squared Circle Jerks podcast if you want more of our fantastic banter. And I'm going to go get a pizza.
Dude, No, you're not going to go get a pizza, you dumb bastard.
Get the pizza place is right down the street, and it's a Little Caesars hot and ready. I can be back quick.
Listen. You're going to get raw chicken and eat it.
No.
Okay, fine. Pizza it is.